Okay, I guess we shall start. So my name is Ksenia. I'm a coordinator of American Corner Kostanay. And today we have a very serious theme, elimination of sexual violence in conflict. This is the day that was proclaimed by Association of UN, as you know, United Nations, I mean, and it is celebrated on 19 June, as it's written in the presentation. And as all of us is in isolation since March, and this an easy day when all of us at home, we need to support each other, but the vice versa, the statistics of violence at home is increased. So that's the topic of our discussion for today. Our speaker for today is Shugula Saginbekova, the coordinator of American Corner Karaganda and the leader of project the Shero, and her volunteer Daniil Bondarenko. So in Russian. Добрый день всем, уважаемые гости. Меня зовут Ксения. Я координатор американского уголка Костанай. И мы сегодня говорим о уменьшении сексуального насилия и конфликтов. В общем, этот день был провозглашен Ассоциацией Объединенных Наций, и он отмечается 19 июня. Поэтому сегодня такая вот тема. Ну и как все вы знаете, мы все с марта на изоляции, и именно с этого момента статистика данных случаев все больше и больше увеличивается. Об этом мы сегодня и поговорим. Так, вот у нас Владимир подсоединился. Ну и другие темы также будем затрагивать. Наш спикер на сегодня Шугула Сагинбекова, координатор американского уголка Караганда и лидер проекта The Shero, и также ее волонтер Даниил Бондаренко. Шугула, если вы готовы, вам слово.
Окей. Меня слышно, да? Всем привет.
Да, хорошо слышно. Всем слышно, да?
Да.
Я вижу у кого-то... да. Просьба большая, отключите, пожалуйста, микрофоны.
Ну, или мы отключим
не говорит.
Окей.
Я надеюсь, меня все услышали, я отключаюсь.
Все. Ладно, всем снова привет, спасибо за представление. Хочу быстро спросить. Вообще встреча предлагалась пройти на английском языке, и здесь я хочу подчеркнуть тот момент, что такие встречи с обсуждением таких тем, и, возможно, еще и других, они еще будут проводиться моим проектом «За Shero Казахстан» и на других языках в том числе. И сейчас давайте устроим небольшое голосование. Собственно говоря, на каком языке будет удобно провести, на английском либо на русском. Вы можете сказать микрофон, но мне кажется, легче будет написать в чат, да, на каком языке вам будет удобно. Мы сейчас быстренько это почитаем и будем проводить на том языке, который выберет большинство.
Плюсиком отмечаем?
Нет, пускай пишут прямо на английском либо на русском. Так будет проще различить. Окей.
Блин, а как мне писать?
Как писать? Ну, вы можете сказать.
Как писать?
Вы можете сказать.
Не знаю, на английском, писать не умею.
Давайте на английском попробуем.
Let's try English, right? Okay. It's up to me. Thank you. I will be waiting for a while. Like, a minute. Потому что, мне кажется, тут больше участников, чем если сравнивать с теми, кто написала, да? Так, давайте еще пару Минуточку буквально подождем. И... Ага, английский. Хорошо. Ну что ж, как я вижу, большинство выбирает английский. Думаю, ничего страшного. Ага. Окей. Ну, тогда будем делать презентацию на английском языке, потому что большинство выбрали английский язык. Еще раз повторюсь, такие встречи еще будут проходить с обсуждением таких тем. То есть то, что мы проводим сегодня в преддверии Дня борьбы с сексуальным насилием, это не означает, что мы перестанем потом говорить об этой теме. То есть мы должны говорить об этой теме, и мы будем ее обсуждать. Мы будем обсуждать ее на разных языках. Сегодня, так как большинство людей выбирают английский, мы будем проводить встречу на английском. Извините те, кто ожидал, что встреча будет на русском, но бывает. Okay, thank you everyone, guys. So let's get started. So, we actually told that. No. I'm sorry. Yeah, here is a question. How do you understand the term conflict? I'm sorry, conflict-related sexual violence. You can share your thoughts. Anyone wants to share?
You want us to speak about violence at families?
Well, not only families, but I just want to understand how do you understand the term, you know?
Oh, okay.
Violence. How do you understand the term?
Okay, when one sex is against another, for example, man may be violent against the woman. And of course, we can notice this situation at families because of quarantine. And so many time people are together at home, at their flats or in some other space, closed space. Quite difficult, and psychologically not many people can resist this situation, maybe.
Sure they don't. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm gonna repeat again that we do the meeting in English because most of people voted in English in the beginning. So I'm sorry if you came for Russian, but because of most of the participants voted for English, we're gonna do the meeting in English. But again, I'm gonna remind you, yeah, and you're gonna be probably exhausted, but what can I do? That we will do such meetings and events more, and we will do it in different languages. Okay, so thank you for such a huge explanation. Here is actually the definition of the conflict-related sexual violence. I've taken all the information from the official websites, like United Nations or stuff. So the conflict-related sexual violence, it refers to rape, sexual slavery, forced prostitution, forced pregnancy, forced abortion, enforced sterilization, forced marriage, and any other form of sexual violence. And it's not only about, it's not only about any sexual violence against women. It's also about all other people, about men, about kids, about girls and boys. So this is really hard, really interesting and difficult topic, but it's really important to talk about it. And actually, this term, it also, how can I say, it also affects to the term of the trafficking, trafficking. Do you understand what does it mean, trafficking? Like human trafficking. This is a question. you can message in the chat, right there, and share your thoughts. And also, do you understand all the words here in the presentation? Because I can explain and we can translate using words if you don't understand something. Yeah? Okay. I can consider that now. So, about official event, it will take place on June 19 this year, like on Friday, and you can join. You can also find any other information on the United Nations website. If you want to learn about, like, if you want to learn more about elimination of sexual violence, you can go there and watch it. And this is a really great opportunity to be the part of such event because, like, not all people were allowed to be. Oh yeah, that's a very good point. That so the things are not necessarily just physical violence, but then institutional violence. Yes, yeah, you understood it absolutely right. It's also about institutional violence, like in general, like not only physical but mental violence also. Okay, so here is a. Oh, is that me? No? Who's drawing here? I'm not sure if I'm allowed to draw anything. Okay, hopefully it's not me. Well, thank you so much. Here is the thing that I learned about when I was searching some information for the this presentation. That like each 3 hours, someone rapes a woman in Kazakhstan, and in each 2, like, you know, like days, it happens to the kids, the violence. Is it so? Unfortunately, yes. I've taken this information from the Fact Check KZ. Do you know such website?
Yes, I know that more than 400 women in Kazakhstan died every year. Yes.
Yes, it's because of the domestic violence. Like,
Yes.
here we talk about like physical violence, but yes, thank you for reminding about this. I mean, like, it's very sad actually, but this is actually how institutional violence work in general. So here is the thing that you can learn about all the statistics on the official website. We can share with you the PowerPoint presentation, and then you can go by the link after the sessions today. So yeah, okay. That this is like, numbers are huge. To be honest with you, I didn't think that it's so. Like, I didn't think that such things happen, but it's actually true, and it's very sad. And here is the point that I would like to remind you, that not all the victims, they do not share with the fact of the violence that happened in real life. Mostly they feel that they are ashamed, they are embarrassed, they blame themselves, and they just like don't do anything, and it's really sad. Yes, so this is again, this is statistics from the fact checking. Here is the number of the registered like rape, and we didn't. This is actually, again, here is a very sad thing that we do not have the law about sexual harassment. What happens a lot again, but here is the statistics of the crimes by sexual, like, you know, of the sexual crimes. And as you see in Kazakhstan, 2014, it was the highest number of the crimes. Well, here is a statistic only, as you see, it's only for 8 years, like since 2010 till 2018. Unfortunately, we do not have statistics for the like 2019. But unfortunately, I think that it's more. And also, as Ksenia reminded before, that Unfortunately, because of the pandemic and quarantine, the numbers of the domestic violence cases increased. But okay, we are talking about sexual violence in general. So, okay, guys, are you familiar with this video? Chat or let me know if you do.
Oh, yes.
So, can you tell us what is it about?
I guess this video from Shymkent, yes, they just wanted to show how that young lady shouldn't pick up with someone, and that is not a good idea. And the man who was drawing the car, he started to attack this girl. I can't explain in English correctly, but he started to argue to her that she shouldn't wear such a short skirt and sit in the unknown car, something like this. Yes.
Yes, it's all true. It's all true. Maybe anybody else, do you know any like other information about this video or about effects and results?
Wasn't it sorry, I
Sure.
don't want to interrupt.
Sure, it's okay.
Wasn't it I don't remember exactly what was said in the video, but it was talking about how like it's basically the whole idea of like Kazakhstan kaza and like protecting like each woman as like as if it was like your sister, and like this idea of like how like you have to like it was like this culture of like protection, but like it wasn't actually protection. Like
Yeah. Yeah. It was very like frustrating, to be honest with you, because you know, like, how can I say? Like, yeah, she shouldn't wear the short skirt, and like as a girl, yeah, she should be protected and stuff. But you know, when I watched this video, I realized I got like different message. I thought that they are going like they are going to tell me that you are wearing short skirt and you are doing crimes. But actually, the taxi driver in the video, he was doing crime, you know? And
Yes.
yeah, and I'm really happy that the audience was so active. I like saved some screens of the comments in the social media that people were just very active in the social media, and it caused change, you know? And here is the thing that I would like share with you. Probably you have heard that this video actually it's a governmental like state procurement. Oh, sure. Thank you. You are welcome. So and you see, like I just made some screens from the official state procurement website. It's really very open. This is Kalasov Drybekovich. He is a director of the video. And as you see, it's something like, you know, conferences, workshops and stuff. And I think that you see the money that has spent, it's 6 million tenge. And the worst thing that it was like it happened in March when pandemic has started, when we were in a state of emergency. The like city's administration in Shymkent, instead of, I don't know, doing something to change the situation, I mean to help the doctors, okay, right, who are working, they were doing the video for 6 million tenge about protection of the girls, like protection, the image of the truly Kazakh girl. And I'm really happy that the audience could impact this. Like they removed all the videos from the YouTube, Instagram and stuff, like from all the social medias and websites. And also, as I know that the people who signed this, like the people who were responsible for this, they actually were fired. So that's like very difficult, but I can say that this is a success story. Okay, so, and here is a sad story. It's more about domestic violence, but I decided that I need to share it with you because it's actually the thing that happened only last year. So the woman in Uralsk, right? Okay, Ural, I'm sorry, Ural. She was she wasn't actually arrested, but she was blamed because her ex-husband, he kidnapped her, and he actually, I'm sorry, he was very violent and he did crime. And here is the thing, you see that the law, it doesn't protect the victim here, the law protects the traitor. So, and here is, again, I really check all the information what I get, all the links and stuff. And you can just go by the links and the references and see all the articles on your own after this. Okay, I think that it's time for the world review, right, Daniela? Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Ah, here we go. Thank you. So here is I'm giving my word to Daniela. He is a volunteer of the Shero project, and I just want to thank you that you helped me with the project. And this is really good to talk to male feminists, because mostly we're like girls protect girls help each other and stuff. But when you see the support from the guys, it's really nice. So thank you so much. Here we go.
I'm glad to help. Yeah, here's it.
Welcome.
So, first of all, can anyone hear me clearly? So, I wanted to ask first to start with a question. What do you guys think is the difference between sexual violence and rape? That is very important question. That's coming back to our first question today, when we saw the definition of sexual violence conflict. So does anyone have any opinion about what is the difference, actual difference? What is rape and what is sexual violence? And I would say its difference is quite big there.
Probably,
Once
I
again.
think sexual violence, it's more about harassment.
Yeah, it's about harassment.
Yeah.
And well, it's also kind of a problem right now, not only in Kazakhstan, but all over the world. If you look at this map, you see that most countries in Europe still define rape as sexual act carried out with the use of violence or threat. But actually, very few countries define non-consent sex as rape. So it's almost a gray zone. And that's kind of problematic. When woman says no, and the man or a woman or anyone else continues to pursue his or her sexual interest, and later after the police investigates this, the problem is they cannot pursue this as a rape. That's a problem. So rape is up to 15 years, usually up to 15 years in prison in most of the countries, while sexual violence is only up to 5 years. And that creates some kind of a problematic. So we can go to next slide. Yeah, so here is it. Another question. Why do you guys think such a sharp rise of sexual offenses and rapes in Sweden during recent years? What do you guys do you think is the reason for this?
Could it, sorry,
Migration.
Yep, we're hearing you. Oh, he's gone. So, not crisis, not real crisis, and not even immigrants, and not only immigrants, even though it's still kind of a little bit of a problem there, but number one problem is that, not a problem actually, the society changes, and not really about crimes. So more women are more willing to talk about it. When they're being raped or sexually offended, they no longer have to hide in their homes, fearing the social stigma which came maybe from their parents, maybe from their friends, from the society. They now can go to police and actually still a complaint about the sexual offender. And that changes things a lot. So when the statistics about rapes worsens in some countries, it sounds paradoxically, but that means probably things are getting better there. So yeah, we can go to the next slide. And that probably when Shugala showed the chart at the beginning of the Kazakhstan almost U-turn graph there, we see that something is probably not good. It's not that we're getting more rapists to the prison, is that we are silencing our women and sometimes men about the sexual violence. And that's coming to the very important, yet sometimes in our country, controversial topic, sexual education. You probably all know this, right? You probably know about sexual education. How they call it in Russian, I would say секс-просвет или сексуальное образование. It really depends. But it's very important. It really creates some kind of destroys the social stigma against talking about it, talking about the taboo of sexual violence. Yeah, absolutely. Sophie is right. It's necessary for all of us. And do you remember in our high school, I don't know how about your school, but in our high school, we had only about 2 or 3 hours talking about this kind of stuff. When we're talking about the reproductive function in human, it was so quick. Everyone was red seating in the class, and then we skip and then we go to other topics. That's why, yes, someone mentioned American skills don't cover sex ed. Yeah, that's true. In America, a lot of conservative states, they do not cover it because of the social pressure which this conservative population applies to them. But things are gradually changing. Things are gradually changing there and changing for good. But in Kazakhstan, I think we really need it. Or guys, I wanted to ask this as well. I'm really interested in your opinion. What do you guys think about it? Do you think it's necessary, or it's better to be part of the biology? Maybe it's better to discuss in some other ways. What is your opinion on this?
Can I also share that? I know how to spell it. Okay. I mean, that's so true, actually, that at school we did not know anything. I mean, I do believe, I actually was going to do such project, but unfortunately, like, the team didn't work well. We wanted to go to the schools and, like, firstly, girls, like okay, women, like female specialists go to the girls, and then male specialists go to the boys and explain about themselves, and then, like, make something, like, you know, together all of them and tell, like, hey guys, you shouldn't be embarrassed or something, it's fine, just, like, know this, it's gonna be better. So yes, but you know, also what I want to ask, maybe about your personal, like, school experience, like all of you. Okay, Kazakhstan schools are banned to even talk about at the breaks, so America is much more meta at this point. Says ignorance in chat. Yeah, this is really very sad. I mean, if you go to the school and tell something about sexual education, people, if you are, like, you're not a minor, if you're an adult, people will think that you're kind of passionate about kids, you know? That's really sad. Well, okay. I speak English, I know how it's spelling against cash people. You know, Daniel, I'm sorry. I really want to ask people about your personal experience. Have you ever had, like, this experience when someone came to your school and explained about it? Or it didn't happen? No.
Never. Thanks to my mom, she was really open to me.
Yeah,
That's
but I think this kind of stuff is mostly by people from Kazakhstan and other countries, is learned either in the neighborhood or in the internet. And I'm not sure which one is better, to be honest. So, yeah. And yeah, you speak.
I'm sorry. I see that you highlighted here, like, learning is a constant. Can you explain about it more, if you don't mind?
So yeah, it is actually very important. That's why I showed you the map at the beginning. when about the Europe and the situation with laws there. So consent is very important, and that's something probably seems a little bit soft, like how to say no. When a woman says no, does she actually mean no, or just like no, like this kind of stuff. And it's very important to learn your rights. It's very important to learn how to say no, especially for women. When someone is sexually offending you or implies something inappropriate, you have to learn to protect yourself, and you have to learn how to say no. Sometimes it's even better, like one of the best options is to just leave. It's being advised everywhere, just leave when something like that happens. And once again, it not only applies to women, it applies to women, to men as well, because men, as we say at the beginning, are also victims of the sexual violence. And also to men and to women, but mostly to men, of course, asking before touching is very important, because sometimes to us, it seems like when in the West, people are being, how they called it, snowflakey when someone touches them, and they already accuse them of sexual assault or something. But it's actually very important, because it's human right to say no. It's human right to be protected by themselves, and not wanting anyone to touch them or even imply to touch. And yeah, especially respecting boundaries is especially serious problems in Kazakhstan because of this pick-up culture or hookup culture, when a lot of rapes happen on the parties or in the people you know and to whom you said no, but it happens. And that's especially problematic. That's sex ed is actually trying to solve this kind of problems with it. Very big amount of professionals teaching in America, like STU said, not in every American school there are sex eds, unfortunately, but things are getting better. And yeah, and also discussing sex and its place in the society is very important. We try to destroy this social stigma about taboo, like what we're talking about with you right now. Let's be honest, that is considered taboo in Kazakhstan, where right now we're trying to overcome this kind of problems, but we're doing the great job, I think, and we have to discuss it. We have to discuss it not only here, or like very adults, but also we have to talk to our children and to people who are particularly susceptible to some sexual offense, maybe. So it's very important to have discussions and to talk. So for that, very, very big gratitude towards Shugalai and the host of today's conversation. So yeah,
I would like to add something. May I add some information?
Yeah, sure. Be free to talk.
I agree with Daniil, and I would like to add that because for children, it is not also convenient for children to discuss this intimatic topic with his parents, for example. So it would be appropriate and would be more important to discuss this topic at school. So I guess that our teachers at schools have to discuss, have to explain this material, this stuff for our children. Not from the first class, of course, but when children studies at 7 or 8 classes. But we need it in our society. We need it.
I think parents should talk about this to their children.
Hey, yeah, versus.
It's more like it's more perfectly like for children, because our teachers they shouldn't do this work. Like it's not their job. It's your job as a parent.
Well, actually, it's a work of psychologists at school, I guess. And sometimes it happens that parents cannot speak about it with their children, and they rely this work on the psychologists who work at school.
We don't have a good psychologist in the school. We all know it because I have never like spoke to my psychologist about problems or something like this. I talk about it with my mother because she's my mother. She should do this. Like it's her job. I mean, if your parent just afraid to talk about this, you need to talk with them. I mean, it's really important to talk with parents first of all because they teach you how to live for your like first ages. I mean, from your born until the 18 and дальше. Вот.
Can I add about this? I do believe that, you know, we cannot say that, oh, parents have to or teachers have to. It must be like the both sides. But actually, I do believe that the parents should explain about this because I'm sorry, this is your kid. And the culture boundaries actually we learn it, I mean, since, I don't know, since the time we were born, probably. Like when, you know, when your kid try to, I mean, like maybe when the kid disturbs someone or stuff and you just say in a simple words like, hey, you know, don't do this because it will not be so good. Yes, it's systematic actually as a society, it's so true. Oh, and also here is one more message in the chat that what do you think, how does concept culture work with Western and Eastern concepts of being okay, I don't know how to read the word, I'm sorry. You understand me. You can see that in the chat. Like, Sevilius probably no. A gentleman HC, are the two mutually exclusive? Oh, that's interesting. Also,
We
sometimes.
have some questions.
Yeah, sure.
We have some questions in the chat.
Yeah,
from STU.
I'm
Would
reading
it
it.
potentially be beneficial? Huh?
I was reading it. I was reading it, but it's fine. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another questions?
Here is one more question actually. Sometimes sexual violence is made not only by one man. It can be a group of men. What do you think about it? Well, it's bad in general, and it's crime. It's like a group crime, right? And we always hear about such like causes. I mean, such situations, like the group.
Well, actually, it's a criminal case already. If a group of people have raped someone.
That's bad.
Yeah, I also wanted to talk about the gentleman culture, which was asked in the chat. So like there is gentleman, like it's being reimagined right now. What means to be gentleman? When you pay for women in the cafe, are you a gentleman or are you the person, or are you a sexist? So there is the term, probably many of you already know it, called passive sexism. So when you help women to, for example, get off her clothes, just a coat, you just take it, but you imply that she is weaker than you, that she's worse than you, you're so strong and you're helping her. That's really sounds very progressive. Same way when you're helping to hold the door when someone come in or come out. The same way it's called, probably, I'm not sure if it's toxic masculinity or not, but it's definitely needs to be taught about. It's not bad or good, it's culture. We can't say it's bad or good, it's like it's different everywhere. But it's definitely need to be taught about, talked about, and probably discussed about. So I would like also to ask if are women offended when men help them hold the door or take their coat, or how do they feel about that?
I think if women is offended about this, or offended about this, it's toxic feminism, because it's not good. Like you can close the door to a man or open the door to a man, it will be okay. It's not a crime or something like this. It's okay to help someone, or it's okay to help even with the clothes or something like this.
I love the term toxic feminism.
Yeah, I like
love
that too, because there is a lot of toxic feminism, and I think it's bad. I mean, we should like treat men with kindness too, because it's equality.
The guys are so happy now. Thank you, actually. Thank you for highlighting this. It's really interesting. That's, okay, from my personal experience. Okay, no, I have a lot of cousins, like male cousins, the brothers, right? And they actually think that if, like, mostly they are paying, like, during the dates, they are ready and they are, like, good enough to pay. But they also pay attention to the woman's actions, like, will she try to pay for herself or no? So that's it's very complicated and interesting. But yeah, okay, so here is one more question. Like, do you think the number of people affects the frequency of the perpetration of sexual violence? Oh, it depends on the culture. Oh, I'm sorry, no, I mean like the manners and stuff. Well, we actually talked about numbers of people we talked about it a little bit earlier. So, okay, like, anybody wants to share or to add anything? No? Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm sorry, we just discussed this earlier. Okay. Here is the thing that I would like to share with you, but it's mostly in Kazakhstan. If you are a victim, like, okay, if it happens so, I wish it will not happen, but if it happens so, you can actually call the police. And here is some like a website, like a Kampor.kz. And also, but calling the police in case of sexual harassment and sexual violence, it doesn't help always, as we see. And that's why most of the victims, they ask for help from the different like funds, non-governmental organizations, or some like crisis centers. So I do believe you can like maybe take a photo of this or make a print screen and keep it just in case, because you know, I'm subscribing this non-governmental organization. It's actually non-governmental organization, Nimo-KZ. It actually also works in Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, if I'm not wrong. And most of the cases that they publish, like that they post on their social media and their website, they help with it because the lawyers and the like, you know, psychologists and stuff, they help the victims and they help to solve the problem. So, but unfortunately, for sure, not all of the victims do know about this, and they just, you know, like, even do not fight, they just live in silence. So, yes. Okay, I think that actually we finished almost. Maybe anybody wants to share any ideas. Maybe you want to talk about more, I mean, like, this culture and stuff. Maybe. Danilo, do you have something to add? Maybe, I don't know. Like,
Sugar, could I add something if it's okay?
Sure.
So I think the idea of toxic feminism is really interesting because so like I know nothing, but like I'm just giving like my observations. I think in the States we have this kind of like Western, I don't want to say wave, but like we have this Western kind of like strand or like species of feminism, where even in those cases, for example, let's say like, you know, if a woman thinks that like a man shouldn't cry or like do certain things, or like a lot of people say like, well, that's toxic femininity or toxic feminism. But I think the Western argument is that that's not toxic feminism, that's still toxic masculinity, because it's still a woman projecting stereotypes about the male gender or about the culture of male behavior. So that according to the Western argument, women can still project and like perpetuate, right, toxic masculinity. It's not toxic femininity. It's still toxic masculinity, because it, by implying that a man should be that way, you are thus implying that women are, you know, X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. So like, it's all the same argument, I guess, just with like a different label. And I think that's the most common argument we see, at least in America, about toxic femininity. So I thought that was kind of interesting that we mentioned it a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, actually. Yeah, I mean, thank you for clarification. And that's, how can I say?
I want to say,
Sure.
I that problem only feminism, but I think
Speak
that
loudly, please.
I think that involved there is sexual violence during armed conflict. Sexual violence is war crime, and very sad and dangerous that this violence is lead not only not state armed group but state armed group, security forces.
Yes, I got it. I mean, actually, yes, sexual violence and conflict, it means mostly the sexual violence during some like wars or during some conflicts, you know, in different countries. Yeah.
Very important very important to fight against sexual violence. Maybe creates resolutions and special training for people.
Yes. You didn't finish your sentence? Anna, right?
Anna.
Yeah, you didn't finish. Do you want to tell anything more?
I don't understand.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I bet here.
Okay. Thank you, actually. Yeah, about trainings and stuff. The main thing, I do believe that the main thing is raising awareness, you know, because for sure, like trainings and seminars and workshops, they are really important, but like systematic, like in general, raising awareness is like, it's important because not all of the people, especially the people who do crime, you know, like who are sexist and stuff, they don't want to take part in such workshops and seminars. But anyway, it's really important to do it. And moreover, I know that there are so many activists in Kazakhstan who try to criminalize, for example, domestic violence and stuff. And as we see by the result of the video was, you know, from the Shymkent TV administration, we actually can do that. If we will be together, if we work together as a team, and if we react, because the main is how the society reacts. So, but thank you for mentioning about it, because it's so important. Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, I just want to quickly talk about the toxic masculinity. I think it's important that women do indeed can be advocates of masculinity. And when women say you're not a man because, yeah, as he mentioned, you're a man, not a man because you can't, for example, use screwdriver or something like that. And masculinity influences both men and women in equally, maybe sometimes. But of course, it's more damaging to men, because you probably saw this very famous Gillette advertisement when there were two men watching like young boys are fighting each other, and they were not trying to stop them. And imagine how much damage this kind of mindset has caused to male all over the planet. When it's also part of the rape. We're coming back to rape, and there is a social stigma when men do not want to be rejected, so they're afraid of being rejected. That's why they go to committing some sexual assaults or rapes or something. It's very important to fight the toxic masculinity. But about toxic feminism, I think it's just like how they call it, feminazi, right? This very over progressive, how they call them, over progressive women. I'm not sure it's a problem, to be honest. And feminism, as we all know, I think most of the people know that feminism is trying to protect not only women. They don't think that women are the uber nation who should rule the world. No, they're just trying to make the world equal for both of the genders, for both men and women. And toxic feminism probably is just a little bit of a problem, but not really a big deal. That's at least how I can see it.
Okay, thank you for your opinion. Well, I see some interesting conversations in chat again. I'm sorry, okay. There's so many messages. Sorry, guys. It's like, okay. So Dariga say that I think that we have sexual violence in our reality because people do not respect people, because it makes not only it happened, like the violence, men do it to the woman and the women do it to men, so true, because all the people do it to each other, and it's really sad. Because it's garbage. Okay, soft masculinity can be perceived as not real masculinity, but even saying soft is toxic, and then says again that being garbage is an absence of education and morals, like in your personal opinion. Okay, well, yeah, garbage is garbage, right? Toxic masculinity or any other that stuff, it's not so good. I mean, that's really actually very interesting presentation. I mean, that's very interesting meeting because we covered so many topics and we discussed it. That's fascinating, guys. Thank you. So anybody else, guys, maybe you want to share your opinion. Maybe you want to tell us, I don't know, for the future, any other topics that you want to discuss it with us. Окей, давайте я, наверное, ссылки. Я просто спрошу всех быстро. То есть мы обсудили. Возможно, вы еще хотите что-то добавить от себя. Если вам трудно добавить на английском, то вы можете сказать на русском. Также вы можете сейчас здесь поделиться теми темами, которые вы хотели бы обсудить в дальнейшем. Потому что Shero Казахстан проект идет, он будет идти. Более того, у нас, кстати, теперь в июле стартует филиал в Шымкенте. Да. И мы бы хотели знать ваше мнение, что вы хотели бы обсудить, либо что вы хотели бы осветить. Я просто это делаю.
I may talk about, like, it's not about my recommendation or advices, but I just want to talk about, it's kind of a fun fact, but not really a fun fact. It's a sad fact about, like, one woman mentioned the rapes during the conflicts, during the military conflicts and everything. And it's unfortunately a very dark corner of Kazakhstani history, as well as Russia history and all the post-Soviet republics history. During the, not many people knew this about it. During the occupation of Germany and occupation of Poland, a lot of Soviet soldiers have committed terrible crimes about the women there. And that's something we have never accepted, we never talk about. That's being maybe even a bigger taboo than what we are talking about right now. This is just part of the history. And also the biggest problem is that rape is being used as a punishment to women of the enemy. For example, terrible fact, during the genocide in Rwanda during the 1990s, when a lot of Tutsi was slaughtered one of the worst facts is that the Hutu, the majority, they hired the men who were HIV positive to rape women of the minority, thought that these women will be infected by HIV infection and will be producing like more, obviously more and more infected babies, and they will be coming to extermination. A lot of rape was committed during the Nanking massacre in the China, when Japanese, even though Japanese considered Chinese people to be second-class human, they raped them in a very terrible amount. Same stuff comes to Germany and occupation of Russia, parts of European Russia, parts of Ukraine and Belarus. It's unfortunately, yeah, Rwandan genocide. It's unfortunately a very sad story, and rapes are being used as a some kind of a weapon. That what also needs to be talked about more.
Yeah, thank you. And probably it helps us, I mean, like the STEM generation, to realize how terrible it is. And I mean, like, we are the future of this planet. We are the future, and our actions, they will affect and they will impact the history and the world. And thank you actually for mentioning about it, because that's a really huge taboo. That's very sad and a huge taboo. Okay, so I mean, like, it's been 50 minutes, and it seems like if you want to share, I will repeat it again. If you want to share anything, if you want to tell us anything, share your opinion and stuff, please, you can do it now. Yeah. Okay, so it seems like, oh, Anna, do you wanna, please, do you wanna add anything?
Anna, you are online.
Yeah,
Speak up.
if you want to. Actually, the thing always happens in conversation clubs too. I mean, like in the flying, you know, you're asking questions, people just like, oh, what? Just look at you and look at each other. Like, oh my God, don't ask me. So, oh yeah, I don't want to force anyone because it was hard. It was, we give you so much information, and thank you again. Thank you that you were with us today, because it's very important to talk, as I mentioned before, and to raise awareness. And I don't know about any other upcoming events. Maybe Ksenia, can you like maybe remind us? Maybe like, will American Corners will do anything? Any other events? Maybe people will be interested.
Well, every week on Instagram we have a weekly post that we will have any events online, so on. So you can watch our programs on Instagram, on any of our pages of American Corners. And also stay tuned, as we say usually. Yeah. Maybe you have any questions for now? Okay, thank you very much. Very informative. You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh. Sure, yeah.
Topic idea of what? What do you mean? The role of language in activism.
What kind of activism? Can you please clarify?
The role of language of activism. Maybe Kazakh language plus feminism. I
will think about it. We'll think about it. Maybe we can do something together. Okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, so thank you so much. Please, you can also share your opinions like later, you know, in social media and stuff. So thank you that you were all with us. I appreciate it a lot.
Okay, see you soon. Goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.